Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I tried so hard, you do not even know, to bring you a podcast. But here we are, episode 1965. It's
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I have a new mouse at Cafe Anyway. I'm so happy, I'm so proud. Yay, yay. And it's a great time to talk to you because it's January the 6th. And we got stuff that's coming on that I gotta fix. Stuff that we want to talk about to you, with you. And this is Mike's Daily Podcast. And you know what? You have to...
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Think very carefully when you are coming up with the name for your podcast. And I said Mike's Daily Podcast.
And
what happened?
Yeah!
I locked myself in to a promise that I don't really keep. But that's... So I talked to a guy who is all about stocks and index investing and all that kind of thing. And he hosts a radio show, and I produced it on Sunday. One of the many reasons why I couldn't bring you a podcast on Sunday, because I was so busy with my full-time job. Usually I get a weekend off from my full-time job, and I did not. So I'm producing this guy's show, and he's telling me all the places he puts his podcast on from his radio show, and I tell him the places I go. He goes, "What's the name of your podcast?" I say, "Mike's Daily Podcast," and he says, "Oh, it's really daily?" And I go, I try. And he goes, "Mike, there's a little secret in life. You need to always under-promise and over-serve." And it appears that I have overpromised and underserved. And I apologize to you, the Mike's Daily Podcast listener, but is it possible to even do that? To even do what he was saying? To overserve and underpromise? I don't know. Sometimes when we make a promise, it keeps us focused. It keeps us committed to do whatever our goal is. Married, for example.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And, you make a promise to each other. You're going to do that. And then it doesn't happen. Or you make other promises. I promise I will not drink ever again. Well, that's a tough one. And this isn't really one of those type of podcasts to help you not drink. I will tell you that what is a big factor in keeping me from drinking a lot every day is that I feel horrible. I drink a little alcohol-y, and I am done. Oh, Basil. And I feel it the next day, Basil will tell you. Yeah. It sticks with me. And it wakes me up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't enjoy that. So it's sort of like me and milk. I know after I may love it and go, ooh, this ice cream is so delicious, or this cheese or whatever, but I know the after effects. I know it's coming up later. The podcast picture, by the way, is of that guy we just heard, Basil the Boxer, and I met a guy named Nacho. His name is Ignacio, which I guess shortens down to Nacho, and he is from Mexico. And I was walking Basil the Boxer in Point Richmond. This picture's not from that, though. This picture's from Podcastro Valley, where we are right now, at Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. It's the last place on earth. And he and I were walking, though, in Point Richmond, in the little downtown area, which they now want to just call The Point. Because Richmond's such an awful, it's got such a bad reputation. So, hey, let's just call it The Point. That's The Point. And they've got Kaleidoscope Coffee there, which is so expensive, but was so packed there on Saturday morning. Wow. People will pay these prices. And then they got a cute little outdoor patio now. But back to walking around Point Richmond, and I got Basil the Boxer. So this guy comes up to me and he goes, "I want to tell you, in Mexico, the families, the people..." He said that the pets aren't really part of the family in Mexico. Here in America, they are really part of the family, and people do anything for their pets. And I commend you for what you are doing, because Basil His back legs don't work. He can't walk with them anymore. So I pick him up with a harness. And you can see that at MikesDailyPodcast.com. He was so impressed, Nacho was, that he took a picture of me and posted me on his Facebook. So perhaps you are listening to this podcast because you saw that. At any rate, between that, and then I would have loved to have done a podcast on Saturday, but then my full-time job, this little thing happened where, somebody got sick and another guy said he couldn't fill in for him and another guy, and then, it was complete bedlam. And it came at the worst time and I was so tired and my nerves just frayed. And then this comes along and the guy who said he was sick actually did a wonderful thing and said, I'll tough it out. And because of that, I am very thankful to him because I had friends coming over. I was meeting with Stormy Phoenix and we were going to, not Stormy Daniels, Stormy Phoenix. She's done podcasts with me in the past. My lovely lady friend was there as well. And we have done podcasts. And so we had to have a fun Saturday night and I was not going to go into work on a Saturday night, especially since I was going to be there anyway on Sunday. So thanks so much to that worker that I work with that decided to tough it out. And it is radio after all. It is not that tough. It's not like you're walking around and trying to talk to people, conversing with the public, working with numbers, working with the cash register or complicated credit card apparati. It is just radio. You're just making sure that the show gets on the air. In my full-time job, which is talk radio. And, you just, every hour has a show or every half hour has a show and you just got to make sure it all runs. Or you produce some of the shows that are actually live. And anyway, it's not that tough. Says me, who's not sick in any way, except I got a cold sore on my face. Ew. That's lovely. A cold sore. I said to my lovely lady friend, you gave me leprosy. That's not funny. Leprosy. Because of leprosy, we have the Hawaiian Islands, or the lovely Kauai. Island of Kauai was a leper colony. Isn't that amazing? Hey, so Basil has some things to say. Let's see. Basil, do you have to talk? Do you have anything to say? No? Oh. We have the Basil mic. The Basil microphone did not pick up anything. Well, let me just tell you that you need to make a budget in 2019. What did I just say? 2019? Ha ha ha. 2020. Okay, so I was kind of mentioning the last show a little bit about this. About trying to stay within budget limits. Now, I picked up a Costco magazine. Oh, no, wait. It was sent to me. Actually, 2 of them were sent to me. If you would like an extra Costco magazine, because you can't get them free anywhere except at what? Costco? Yes, you can get it at Costco. But they had this article. I get 2 every month, by the way, because my former roommate went to Costco. My former roommate used to make this kind of a laugh. Ha ha ha. There is no point to setting up a budget if you don't follow the limits. Keeping track of all expenses down to the last penny is the key to building a good financial future. Splurging on new items without first budgeting for them is a recipe for debt. Allow room for entertainment. Entertainment may seem like an unnecessary expense. However, everyone needs some time off for fun. Set aside funds each month for entertainment once the basics are covered. Renting movies. That's so funny to me. Renting movies. There was a time I spent so much money on renting movies. There was a time when I was married, my ex-wife forgot about returning a movie to Blockbuster. And the movie sat in the back seat of the car for about a month, and we ended up paying like $50 for that stupid movie, whatever it was. And now, there is no such thing as Blockbuster. set aside funds each month for entertainment once the basics are covered. Renting movies or signing up for online video streaming services are good ideas. If there's something interesting to watch, that is, for example, like my lovely lady friend had me watch a show about ice skaters called Spinning Out that's on Netflix. January Jones is in it, and she plays this awful mother. She's an awful mother partly because she's dealing with a handicap. She's dealing with being bipolar. And so it is a story about that and about what is entailed in that, being involved with that. So I found it fascinating. And it's about ice skating. And it looked like the actors were really ice skating, too. It wasn't like in Blades of Glory where they tried to superimpose Will Ferrell and Jared Hess's faces on these real professional ice skater bodies. That was so fake and awful. But we're outside a cafe anyway, where we have a ice rink this time of year. Did you know that? Yes, out in the patio, somewhere here in Cafe Anyway, the last place on earth in Podcastro Valley. And look who is out here joining us, as a matter of fact, in this second podcast of 2020.
Hello, Michael Mars. It's Madame Rootabega. Where is your lovely lady friend? Oh.
Yes, she is not here. We were going to do one on Friday, because, let's see, the last one we did was Thursday. This is called the Excuses Show. Lots of excuses, my friend, from my coworkers, from me to you about this podcast. Yeah, so Friday, I was going to totally do a podcast, and we get back home. He's kind of whistling. Basil, don't whistle. He gets really concerned when Madame Rootabega shows up. Sorry, madam. That's just how it is.
That's all right. My voice is kind of jarring. Ooh.
Yes, dogs don't like it. Look who else is out here. By the way, do you have a dog, Madame Rootabega?
Yes.
Is he named Benji?
Yes.
Does he like to eat peanut butter?
No.
Interesting. Most dogs like peanut butter, but... Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the barking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we was hearing you talk all about budgeting and whatnot. We're going to do that in 2020 day.
Yeah, 2020. Do you know that? I make cat noises.
Oh, really? Let's hear one.
Meow. Do you know that?
Wow. Probably one of the best cat impressions. Oh, by the way, this show isn't for kids anymore. So YouTube was all, hey, you got to let us know if your show that you upload, if your video is for kids. And I thought, well, I have voices on this show. I have like helpful things that I talk about that help you. It's helpful. So I thought kids need help in this hard, crazy world. I will say yes, it's for kids. And then they go, okay, now nobody can be a member of your podcast or a member of your channel. You're done. I'm like, what? Okay. Oh, I guess I'm not for kids because I want to have people that are members of this channel, that youtube.com/MikesDailyPodcast. I mean, what do they want? They're just so all over the place. Like this show. Google, come on. God, it gets so annoying. Isn't it annoying, this world? We're all so afraid of legal ramifications, and we just all covering our butts. It creates such a boring, crappy world. Ugh, come on. Anywho, back to budgeting. Here's one last thing I would like to tell you and give you this bit of advice that I pulled from this Costco magazine. Use cash or checks to manage spending. What? What does that even mean, Costco? Using credit cards can increase the risk of accidentally overspending. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, because it's so easy. However, when you have rewards points with your credit card, that's pretty cool. And you forget all about it, although they're never supposed to take away your rewards points. That's grounds for legal disputation. No, you get those, you keep those points for life until you use them on all kinds of things. what kinds of things am I talking about? I'm talking about Amazon cards, because that's basically that's anything cool that any of these credit card rewards people offer. Anywho, so we're at the risk of overspending when we use credit cards. When this happens, stick to using cash for a while, even though you don't get rewards points. Is that what you're saying, Costco? Even though Costco, it's so ironic, they have their own rewards program through their own credit card. So, anywho, that's a good idea if you're having trouble keeping a budget. Better yet, using checks makes you keep track of your available balance, because you're always writing stuff out. The psychological impact is greater when you hand over physical cash or write out a check instead of reaching for a card. Watching your money, which really says how bad debit cards are, because they are a credit card. You are not. They're like a credit card in that you can just run it and you lose money out of your bank account. Oh, and then there's the whole hacking thing where people can hack your number and take money away, and then you can never replace it like you can with credit cards when they hack in. And there's this whole awful thing about debit cards that, there's no rewards. Did I say that part? Anyway, watching your money supply dwindle over the course of a week drives home how much you really spend. That's great advice. Thank you, Costco. I've had to write a lot of checks, so much I'm almost out of checks, and I went to buy checks, and like a checkbook is like $25 freaking bucks. And then I found a special, so there are accounts that you can get through your bank, which allows you to get credit card checks for nothing. And unfortunately, though, a lot of those accounts require you to have a lot of money in the bank. A lot of those checking accounts with free checks. At any rate, if you have that capability, it's a good idea to try and get one of those plans. So you don't have to pay $20, $35 for I couldn't believe how expensive checks were. If you're in need of checks, Costco, they have everything from high security business checks and desk checks to everyday checks featuring cartoon characters, dog breeds, and what? Dog breeds, Basil. Like you're a dog. What? What are you trying to tell me? Checks are bad? What do you want me to do? Am I supposed to use credit cards instead? Is that what you're saying? But if I just use credit cards, then I lose track of my budgeting. Basil, what are you trying to tell me? Okay. All right, he's trying to give me financial advice, my dog. All right, well, we'll just pretty much wrap up the show because Basil's sick of me podcasting. But you can tell me what you think. You can call me 1-800-336-MM-DAILY. Oh, wait, it's not a 1-800 number. I said way too many numbers there for it to be a phone number. It's 336-MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews, Daily as in what this podcast will try to be. And hopefully we will get to you, the lovely lady friend, on the next show. Hopefully. We'll see what happens. But thank you for listening. Don't make excuses this year. Make progress. Make strides. Make a good year. That's what make America great. You know what I'm trying to say. Make me smile. And here's Ariel to make you want to email me because she'll give you out the email address. Here she goes.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.